And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Surprise Live. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, or anywhere in the galaxy, in the universe. Coming to you from a galaxy far, far away. It is me, Alien Spaceship. We have some more interesting things to talk about and hanging out for those that want to attend, and some of you may be seeing this as a rerun. I appreciate all of you, and I'll be doing now is switching over to the other screen. Alright, hello everybody. It's me, Alien Spaceship, and we'll be doing some of the game and talking about a variety of different topics as we usually do, and this is for those that wanted to maybe hang out and chat and stuff, or people could see this as a rerun, whatever. And I hope everybody's having a great day, and I will be now turning the game on and continuing on from there. Right. Right. And it also is a nice day outside. I think I recommend seeing it. It's very nice. Well, at least in this region, it may be raining in other parts. All right. So now the game is loading. All right. So it is now launching. All right. All right. So also I'll be talking about some stuff with the Wild West that I thought was interesting. We'll do that also, which I do that. I've been covering it a few times because it has some interesting information in it. And yesterday it was a good discussion with the retrial. When the chat and we had a discussion about it, it was very productive. It wasn't all violent and cringe like the other chat is sometimes. All right, here is the game. All right, here we go. All right, this is Tortuga, the pirate island that you all have seen. Those that are the regulars have seen this island. It's the pirate island, and I recall correctly, it's Jamaica. It's called Jamaica now, but it was originally called Tortuga. It was a nickname given to by the pirates themselves. All right. And today, the Karen Reed trial is not in session today. So that is something chat was wondering what we were all going to do about that. So then I was just like, we could do these lives, which I was, earlier was going to do it, but here we are now doing it though. All right, so hello, Five Cats Television. It's great to see you, and I hope that you're having a good. I don't know what it's probably nighttime over there. Hope you're having a good evening, or whatever it is over there, with your cats. And I think that very cute videos of the kittens, very awesome. And so basically with the Reed trial, they are completely we're talking about the different conspiracies that if the conspiracy theory about it is true or not. We were discussing that if they put the body there when thank you, Five Cats, when they put the body there at the right place at the right time for Reed to show up to make it look like she did something. So, and then on the other hand, it's very corrupted, and there's a lot of people that are doing these, owning the town and maybe influencing the cops or bribing them. Then again, all the cops would have to be on it. So yeah, there's a couple of different ways that the person, John O'Keefe, passed away. It could have been a couple of different things, and a couple of different theories. So I wouldn't be concrete in one theory. We would have to and also see how that trial goes. But that trial is a big mess, It's a really big mess, and I am. One thing about it not being live today, it's good in a way that we don't have to deal with the morons that are in there, because there's a lot of people that are acting a fool, and Dwayne said that he does not want to deal with all that stuff, all the fighting, things like that. So as I said, it was a good, productive conversation yesterday, and as the trial goes on, I'll update about it. And something interesting about these pirates. So in this game, oh, you agree? Five cats, awesome. Okay, I'm glad that you understand my point of view. That's good. That's good. Yeah, because it's GSI and Moki have been talking to about it, and we've been discussing with our other friends. And yeah, so it's a tragedy, and say people are intoxicated. They may not completely remember what they did or what happened. People could not be intoxicated and not notice something that occurs. So yeah, it's good to look at things from all angles and not just go with one thing, and to be see both sides of a argument. So this cave that I'm in, and the other caves that I go in the game, it is where they would mine for diamonds and coal. Also, you were talking about the coal miners before, the region in England that they do that there, and this was in the Caribbean where they did the mining in these caves. And I would have to pull up an article about the technical historical stuff about it, but basically they would mine for these caves, and you'll have some NPCs. So an NPC is a non-player character. You'll have some NPCs in this game that are doing the mining in the caves. And yeah, it's interesting. You have these different quests and stuff you go on, but yeah. So anyway, it has some historical stuff in it. And we have Eugene. Hello, Eugene. Gracious greetings to you too, sir. Shout out to you. Some of these caves can be pretty scary, and they're fun to explore. People resulted to piracy because there wasn't really any economic way of making money, especially over in England. Over in England, there's these economic problems, and the people had nothing, so they went. And here we are. They have this situation where the piracy rose, especially in the Caribbean, and there wasn't really a lot of regulations with the Navy back then. It was just very sparse, but there's still piracy down there actually, in other parts of the Caribbean, in other parts of the world. But it's not like how it was before. They don't have giant pirate ships with dressed like mine anymore. And Five Cats says, I also think she was framed. Understood. She could have been framed. Absolutely. And I think that it would be good to see as time goes on, if there's any evidence for it, to see what evidence that would be. There's a theory that Michael came up with, that somebody went and murdered him, and they're going to blame it on the snowplow guy, and they decide to blame her for it. As I said, I'm not denying that the police force is corrupted. They are corrupted. And that the specific story about all of them are being in on it, maybe it's true, and some think it could be far-fetched, because all these people will be putting their lives in the line over it. But then again, this family owns all this stuff. Maybe they are bribing the police force. It could really go either way. And Five Cats, I did read the comment above. I see what you're saying. I acknowledge it. You believe that she was framed. Yes. And you believe it's both. Right. Understood. I understand your position on it. Now, I do think people in the chat can be not that nice to each other, which I don't like that. And I do think that there has been a spectacle made out of it. And I hope that she gets off free after she's innocent, because it's terrible for a person to be found guilty for something you didn't do. And this corruption should be exposed. And also, you believe that she knocked him over. Right, right. Okay, I get it. I get it. And I don't think she did it on purpose. If she did knock him over, I don't think she did it on purpose. I think it was an accident. And as I said, both are likely true. It's kind of like in school, you know, is it A or B or a C? But sometimes it's all the above. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for your take on it. Yeah, it makes sense. Right, so we're fighting in these caves. Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking, but people have to be careful if they drink too much that we don't have accidents. Not even if she was in, even if she's innocent. Just hypothetically, that if accidents occur, we will hope that people will not try to intoxicate themselves too much, where they don't have an issue. But sometimes, like, people could be framed for something they didn't do, and it happens quite often, unfortunately. And I'll be something I said the other day to the other group. Just by a very slim chance, she is doing it on purpose. She is a very brilliant mastermind. Very brilliant. She's very brilliant if she did do it on purpose. She's smarter than Monica Cementelli if she did it on purpose. I don't think she did it on purpose, but if she did, she was very smart how she did it. Because it's hard to... And I will say, I don't think the burden of proof is there to convict her. But we'll see how the trial goes. Because someone could do a crime. Someone could do a crime, and there's not enough evidence or proof to convict them. Anything could happen to anybody. But, you know, it could be a couple of different things. That's why, in a way, it can be a good case, in a way, because it's not obvious that she's guilty. It's more of a mystery. It gets everybody thinking. Upgraded my sword. Awesome. Level 29 sword. There was some other cases. There's, not, as I said, not really any cases going on. And the situation where you have cases over in the East Coast, they end sooner. Yes, it has lots of layers. Absolutely. Scared. Scared. Yeah, because it has a lot. It also has Timu layers. I remember, like, we'll be in the chat, and a lot of times in the Law and Crime chat, there is like 57,000 people in there. And when you have and the chat's flying, it's going very fast. And when the chat is going extremely fast, it's hard to keep up with everybody. Then you got people trolling, as I said, people trolling and calling each other names. And if somebody has a different opinion, they have to get all offended and act like it's the, you know, she was a saint sent from heaven, the heavens, or some sort of a divine being in human form, but she's not. She's a human. And as I said, she could have been intoxicated, made a mistake, or was framed, or both. And I think people make mountains out of molehills. It doesn't matter at the end of the day where we would all be personally affected, but it's good for people to, as I said, I believe she'll probably be found innocent, but I have to wait and see. Yeah, you can't deal with law and crime. Yeah, Wayne, he used to go there. I remember I met him a couple of years ago. I'd say 2023, 22 or 23, I met him. And it used to be a nice chat where people would get along and it was pretty cool. But then, although a lot of people don't like the mods that they used to have, they feel it was restrictive. They feel people weren't able to write in all caps or express themselves a certain way. But now what you have in the chat is it's better now than it used to be. So Five Cats, as bad as it used to be even worse at a certain point. Yeah, he just, and I used to talk to him all the time on there, but he came to my channel and he talks to me here. So I'm glad that I have him here, but yeah, he couldn't deal with the law and crime people anymore. Because, so a lot of people that you didn't meet did leave law and crime a long time ago. You know, as I said, I think it's entertaining. And I think the Koberger case will cause more unity. And Five Cats says, yes, this woman could be guilty, yet is treated like a princess. Exactly. Yeah, because all these people holding up signs and wearing pink hats and waving the American flag, and also they have these other type of political flags that they're flying, which it has to do with America. Was when America was at 13 colonies, they'll have these different flags for these political movements, and you have them there. And it's, as I said, she was just an intoxicated NPC. It wasn't. She didn't save a cat. Like, people that care for animals and cats and stuff, like a lot of us do, should be treated like that. But this person that didn't do anything, that probably hit him, it's probably guilty, went and gets treated like a princess. It's absurd. Yeah, absolutely. You try to, when it's less busy at law and crime. And I want to say to Eugene, if I didn't tell you this, I hope that you're having a great day, buddy. Thank you for being here. And I'll go over again in full detail about the different points that the chat and I discussed yesterday. So basically, you have, I was talking to GSI8, and we were just discussing it. Although the conspiracy theory could be true, because a lot of conspiracy theories that are far out are true, you would have to have a situation where the people, all the 50-something police officers would have to be in on this conspiracy and risk their jobs and their family and their lives for this, and to position the body at the spot where it would look like she would hit him would be incredible timing to know where she would be at and everything, to position it that way. But and on the other hand, the other people are saying how, oh, also she was not consistent, and she would have said it from the beginning, but there seems to be a change. And like in the beginning, how it was thought, and now it's saying that was the police that framed her. Which I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that that's like a position about it. Then the other side is saying that this family owns that area and they've bribed the police force, similar to how Pablo Escobar bribed Colombia and the country. It was able to get away with a lot of stuff. He even made his own prison. He made his own prison. It was like a luxury hotel. So money can do a lot of things, but as I said, it could be true, but it is far-fetched. And she could have accidentally hit him. Somebody else could have murdered him, and they just couldn't find who it was, so they just botched it. Either way, they're corrupted over there, regardless of what the truth is. So then you have a lot of people don't like Karen Reed because of the way she acts or the way she is. And I think women have a special intuition where a lot of men might be blind. And some women do not like Karen Reed's personality. That something about her is not likable. She did a documentary, and people think that was inappropriate on both sides. When you're in a case, you shouldn't try to be doing an interview. Does she want a lot of fans and fame? It's like, what is going on here? Exactly, Five Cats. It must be weird for Karen to walk through the crowd day after day, month after month, knowing she hit him. And also, she keeps a straight face about it, and she retains her innocent like a psychopath would. As I said, it's these like Ted Bundy was a serial killer in America. I'm sure you know who that is. He People thought he was very good at appearing innocent, but he wasn't. He was very good at masquerading a certain way. Ah, y'all are wondering about me. Scared. Hello, Cecil. Well, I appreciate y'all wondering about me over at the that other chat. I appreciate it. That's very kind of y'all to be wondering about what I'm doing. I hope that all of you are having a good day over there that are watching that trial. That I was going to maybe check out. I appreciate y'all wondering about me. And I've been thinking about y'all too. Moki, Joyce, Kadeta, Truth, etc. Oh, well, shout out to them. I'm glad that they were wondering about me. Hello, Moki. Thank you for telling me hi. Thank you. I'm doing okay, Moki. I'm doing okay. Hope y'all enjoy the trial that y'all are watching, if it's still going on. I appreciate what y'all being concerned about me. Yeah, Moki, I'm just talking about which I talked about yesterday. Yeah, understood, Moki. Understood. And hello, Dwayne. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, we're just talking about why the conspiracy theories of Karen Reed don't make any sense. Right. Yeah, the Sure trial. Yes. All right. And I don't know. I have not checked out the trial yet, so I don't know. And y'all said that channel's Fox 8 on YouTube. Is that what the channel was? You said it was? All right. All right, Cecil. See y'all later. Mary didn't know I was going live. Scared. Fox 2. Okay, understood. All right, peace. All right, this guy looks like he has himself a hole. All right. He's digging himself some treasure. Yeah. Scared. Thank you, Five Cats. I'm glad that you appreciate my sword work. Yes. I was about to say, that looked like a zombie mermaid. Also, with a lot of these streams that you see, I like going live and hanging out with y'all. And also, they're requested heavily. This daytime one was requested. It was going to be a bit a bit earlier, actually. It was supposed to be a bit earlier, but this is when I did it. If they don't come, that's okay. I do as I say. Even if it's not exactly, we didn't agree on a time, but I do as I say. I keep my word. Even if it's not what people might think, I still kept the word and went live during the day. I also went outside. It was nice. Very nice today. It's called swordsmanship. You were shook. Yes. Alright, so basically, Bubbles is sleeping by his food. I fed him before I went live. Well, thank you, Five Cats. Thank you, Jane, for watching from the UK. It rained this morning. Scared. Well, I can't tell the way it looks right now, but yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you. All right. Hello, Jane. It's great to see you. I'm glad that you're here. I always appreciate you in the chat and the emojis and stuff. I like it. Appreciate you. Now, this is not where it was. Scared. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You do a lot for the cats. Oh, no. Mary Toodles is my mom, by the way. She's amazing and great. But yeah, Mary Toodles is my mom, and her and her family were the ones that got me into cats because that's what they like to do. Yep, we get a bit emoji cray cray. Yep, that's true. And it gets yeah, yeah. A shout out to my mammy. Yes, and then yes, Mary Toodles. Mary Toodles. Yes, is my mom. It's been hot and sunny here in the UK. Awesome, awesome. Oh, yours is called Mary too. Oh, that's awesome. A synchronicity right there. Well, thank you. I thank you. I am a great gamer. And yeah, the buddy I talked about aliens with, he gave me a Mario game on the Game Boy when I was little. So he was very generous. He gave me a DS. Besides talking about aliens, we also love Mario, Super Mario on the Game Boy, and that's what we used to play, and we played on played the Game Boy. Well, it was on a DS, but I had a Game Boy and the DS. Whoa, that's a big one. Hello, Danny, buddy. Good to see you, man. All right, looks like they're going to be after me. I have to go and yeah, Danny. I hope you're having a good day today. I got myself in a situation here. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. They might still get me. I'm scared. Well, glad you'll be back. I'm gonna have to go back for this one. He's a little bit too. This is a Timu character right here. Was not completely knowing this guy would come around, but he's here. Well, I'm glad you like the graphics. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, the graphics are really cool. Over time, they made the game better and better. Because it used to be... The graphics have improved drastically over the years. Because with the graphics, people... Originally, the game was a Disney game, you know, based on Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean. And also, another thing that they did was this group of fans. It was fan-made. The fans recreated the game. And over the years, it's been 10 years, they have drastically improved the graphics. It made it look very good. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And y'all that are here with me, that are staying here with me, I appreciate y'all very much. You can be anywhere but you're here, and I appreciate that. But of course, people who go where they want. Doesn't bother me either way. Yeah, and yeah, the mist and the fog is very nice. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was very sunny. Now it's kind of it's cloudy, but it's very sunny. It's surprising to know it rained earlier, and sometimes when it rains, it kind of hurts the internet. You know, it'll cause a problem, but here we are, just showing. Five Cats says, Mary Toodles, I hope your son shows you my channel. I love watching the possums and hearing about your cats. Oh yeah, I showed her your channel before, and I'll show her the new videos that you have up. But I showed her. My take on the retrial. So, with the retrial, well, we've been talking for quite a while about it. So I have quite a bit of information to reveal to you. So, with the retrial, I think it's a rabbit hole of different possibilities and different things it could be. By the way, where I am, they have areas like this. They have places like this where I live, and I've been kind of there before. These kind of bogs and stuff, by the way. It's pretty cool. Now, that was random, but I had to throw that out there. So, basically, what happened was, I'll first talk about what GSI 8 and I were talking about. So her and I were talking about these conspiracy theories, and she and I were talking about why they may be far-fetched. I know, as I said, what the prosecution is saying is... So I'm going to give you a perspective why it is and why it isn't. So I'll give you arguments from both sides. It's not a biased point of view. And I really don't care either way about this lady. She's just an NPC that got drunk, probably, maybe, or maybe not, hit her boyfriend. It's like, it doesn't matter either way. Well, thank you, Mary Toodles, for being her 400th subscriber. That's great. So with the conspiracy that the police force is very corrupted, and they're fools. That's a fact, I think. Whatever's true, it isn't true. So what G and I were talking about is that for 50 police officers or so to be all in this conspiracy theory, and to risk their lives, their jobs, their families, to blame it on this woman, this random woman, because of they want to take out this police officer for whatever reason, is she believes, and we're talking about how it seems far-fetched. It doesn't mean it's not true. It's just usually it's far-fetched when you have a situation like that. But a lot of conspiracy theories that are crazy are true. And then they would have to position and put his body, take him out the house, put his body on the lawn, and put it right where she would be driving up. And if I got something wrong about that, however she came through the picture to look like she was hitting him, to position it where she would be at, to make it look like she hit him, to calculate all that correctly, is the timing would have to be uncanny. For them to know where she would be at, to make it, put it in the right spot, it would be it would be incredible for the timing. Now, this doesn't mean they're covering up something. It doesn't mean that they are hiding something. It means that this theory could have maybe not hold water too much, but it's a theory. It's a speculation. Now, something Michael was saying that, paraphrasing, that somebody murdered. Yes, Miranda. Hello, Miranda. Good to see you, friend. And yeah, I know the word conspiracy theory is silly, yes. And a lot of conspiracy theories are seen as true, and I think it's a badge of honor to be called that, because we would know with the aliens and the stuff, that's what we're called. So I'm open to conspiracy theories, and I think it, maybe it's true, but this is what they're calling it. They're calling it, okay, in court, they're calling it a conspiracy. It's a term in the court, and it's something that they're in full thing conspiracy theory. But yeah, I do agree with Miranda, and it's great to see you, my friend. And yeah, and Jane said that's what you thought. Okay. So for her to be doing all that, it would be like a far-fetched situation. Now, saying this, also, with the other factor you have, is that she was maybe, like what Michael was saying, that somebody murdered him and they couldn't find who did it, so they were going to blame the snowplow guy, but instead they blamed her for it. It could have been like that, or it could be just a few people. Something that Dwayne... Remember, all this is speculation. Exactly, especially like what... Yeah, Miranda, exactly. With the food. There's a lot of stuff in the food that's not right in the water. Yeah, exactly. Because they'll call us, like Miranda, for instance, the Planet 10 Nibiru that I talk about. I'm still talking about Karen Reed, everybody. It's all good. But with the Planet 10 Nibiru, they said it was not true, and a teacher told us why it wasn't real, and thought that me and my buddy Douglas were morons. But not everybody, just some people thought it was far-fetched, and some people thought we were morons. But guess what? NASA and everybody's saying that it's true, and for thousands of years, there's evidence of this planet that they said wasn't real. And they're saying that they kind of like found it now. So, yeah, so as I said, it's, and the aliens too, that they're talking that there's something there. And and there's conspiracy theories about that. Hello, Steve. Okay, hello, Steve. I'll answer your question. And going back to what I was saying about the read. Yes, and I'll make clear what Five Cats said. All this is speculation. We don't know what actually happened. We don't know anything. Okay? And as you're also saying, Miranda, I'll get to you in a moment. So with Karen Reed, they were going and saying that this situation occurred where she could have been framed. She could have been framed. It could have been something else, or it could have been that. We don't really know. It's speculation. So, and then this other issue that comes up is that she was drinking, and she could have hit him without realizing it, and she just didn't remember. And then that's another theory. But they're still corrupted and butchered the case. This is the other theory. That he was covering a case and the police department wanted to get rid of him. because he was covering something. He was doing a certain case, and they want to take him out for some reason. Right, exactly, Miranda. Right, right. So we have a situation where another factor, another smaller percentage of a factor, is that she's like Monica Sementelli, where the boyfriend that he was going to break up with her, and she was very angry that he was going to break up with her. So she was extremely intelligent, and the she got rid of him. And she did it in such a way the burden of proof wouldn't be there. So, but as I said, that doesn't mean that that's true. That those are different theories. And I am not too certain what the truth is exactly. All I know is that these are different theories and speculations out there. Remember, it's all speculation about what both sides are saying, and I do think there is a strange cult mentality about her and a hive mentality. But it's good that y'all are like seeing like a different perspectives. And as I said, I hope if she's innocent, she gets off the hook, because this is really a big mess that she's been having to go through. It really is. But as I said, I don't, she was an NPC that got drunk. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. But still, I hope the person is found innocent if she's innocent. All right, so we're going to go to the questions. Broda has very good question. Very good question. Alien, in your unbiased opinion, do you think Canton will be able to bring Glory back after Karen retrial has shaken the town to the core? Well, Steve, I'm very optimistic, and I believe anything or anyone or any town could have a comeback after something terrible. I think that there's no light without dark, and without darkness, you can't have extreme light, I think. So, with the darkest part of the night is before the dawn. So, I think, and Miranda, I'll get to what you're saying also. I haven't forgotten about you. And anybody else that had some kind of question or remark, I'll answer it or address it. So, I think that anything could come back, depending if they believe. But sometimes the scars always remain, or a stain remains. For instance, where I am in, like, say, New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina will always be a part of the history of the city. And 9/11, America, and New York. So sometimes the scars remain, but the scars are signs that they couldn't take you out. That's why, for instance, people love scars on people, for instance, because they couldn't take you out. They survived it, overcame it. If anything, it'll make it better and enhanced. So the people of Canton believe in themselves. I believe that they will be able to come back from this. And without this incident, their town would not be even known. It would not be known about their county, whatever it's called. There would not be anything known. But because of this incident, they're known all over the world now. And also, basically, I think it is extremely important to view things in that sense. That they can come back from it and something good came out of it, because there's something good, great things can come out of horrible situations. Like the Mothman incident, which is this cryptid that appeared, and the area where it happened, they have a Mothman statue. They have tourist attractions. So the demonic weird sighting they had of the demonic angel looking thing gave them something credible where they were able to make something good out of it and be known. Another thing is that New Mexico, with all the alien, the different alien sightings that happen, they had the different alien incidents that occur, and those different parts of the world are known for aliens. And like I said, you can have a lot of tourist attractions and theme parks and things like that. So something good can come out of it. Yeah. And also, Miranda says, what about the nastily chemical trails and cloud seeding? I used to be majorly against climate change, but now I believe to be somewhat real. Oh, okay. Okay. So you believe that climate change may be real? Okay. And I was debating Marie about it, and I do believe the Earth does go through natural cycles every few thousand years or so, but it doesn't mean that there isn't climate change. It doesn't mean that's not true. But I, for instance, it snowed here, and I mean, that's not, uh, like, it usually doesn't snow here that often, but I felt the global warming then, but as I said, doesn't mean there's not climate change, though. So it's possible that in the scientific data does seem to show that there, regardless of what, and some of y'all know me on different political shows and things, which I would say this across the board, is that when I did research on this, the scientific data does show that there is some sort of climate change happening. I don't, as I said, it could have to do with the Earth going through cycles partially and human intervention and the chemtrails and stuff. Miranda, it might be a combination of both, but yeah, there definitely is something going on with the scientific data, unless it was made up. But that's what the data does show. Now, I don't know what measures would be taken to stop it, if it has to be as necessary as what's going on in California, or go green by 2024 or 2028 or 2020 or 2030. So, as I said, I don't know what the solution is, but the data shows there's something going on. The Earth does go through cycles on its own, but at the same time, there is human intervention that could also contribute to it possibly as well. Especially like with the chemtrails. For instance, Miranda, remember I told you maybe before, when him and my buddy and I were all like walking on the football field when we were kind of like, we were doing an exercise where we kind of were jogging and we were playing some kickball and stuff like that, and we saw these two airplanes making an X. And they were in sync with each other. And although allegedly there's not a lot of whistleblowers about this, because usually the conspiracy theory, you'll have a whistleblower, which maybe the fact that we are aware there's chemtrails was from a whistleblower at some point. So although there's maybe allegedly not a lot of data about these things, we don't know exactly for sure what they are. And it's possible that these chemtrails are definitely something nefarious. I believe so. And they're dumping this stuff in the environment and dumping it on us, whatever it is. And they're able to control weather, allegedly. So, yeah, I believe that there's something going on with that. Now, as I said, there's not a lot of whistleblowers and stuff to prove that, but there is something definitely there. Because why would they be flying in sync with each other? It's not like people flying aircraft. They're like making X's and stuff in the sky. Now, like from this stuff, kind of like from Harvard, you can take it with a grain of salt. They're saying that when something's very high up in the atmosphere, an aircraft, it can freeze and turn to ice crystals, and that's what creates those trails. Is it any plane that's at a certain altitude that makes it? Or also, is it both? Is it planes at that altitude produce some sort of a chemtrail, and they're dumping something in it, something nefarious? Or is the act of it something bad for the environment or for us in general? So it's definitely a rabbit hole to go down on. But no, nothing is denied. That the government is known to lie. They know they cover things. They don't tell us the truth. So yeah, it's very likely, most likely, it's something bad. But as I said, there isn't tons of data about it, but as time goes on, we will gather more, and I'll see what is out there, because I don't know everything that's out there about it. Like, if anything is released I didn't see. Alright, so then we have Jane saying, how did John end up outside, and Karen's reaction wasn't of someone who had done something on purpose? She would have driven off, not stayed there. That's a good point. You see, basically, exactly. Right. How do John end up outside, and Karen's reaction wasn't of someone who had done something on purpose? She would have driven off, not stayed there. Now, she could be doing something to act like she didn't do something. It could be a deception, or, as I said, it may not be, it may be exactly what you're saying. Exactly. It's a hole in a narrative. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. It could be, this other factor might be a possibility. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And they spray the skies over there. I know y'all are saying a lot of stuff. Hello, Danielle. Great to see you. I've been ranting for a while, and chat has been talking to me, and I'm going to keep on reading what y'all are saying. Because, yeah, Jen is sus. I have to check the laundry. Can't use the dryer because the baby possums. Alright. And then you have the fact that people made up the word conspiracy theory is just silly. I think I said that before. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's mostly all true. I lived in times, Alex. I read that. Okay. I read that. Okay. 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 I'm not as far back as I thought I was. Okay. Y'all, thank you for bearing with me, everybody, while I see what chat is saying. How John ended up outside. Okay. Steven. Okay. Makes sense. Amen, alien. Okay. God bless John O'Keefe. Amen. Yes, fighting against corruption and Karen Reed happened. We face a can of worms. True. Baker Lake is known for tracking area. Absolutely. That's odd to me. Is cloud seeding and how real it is in driving. Oh, thank you, Dwayne, for driving and listening. And, all right, I'm caught up with chat now. Well, thank y'all for the great interactions. Steve says, yeah, Miranda, I can't comment on anywhere else, but in New Mexico, they've sprayed to create clouds. You can watch it happen. Yes, that is true. I have seen that over here, Steve. It's like when they spray the stuff, a cloud just appears. It's dumping, I believe, in the conspiracy of depopulation plans of the human race. Top secret, but I believe it's real. I agree with you, Miranda. And I believe they're probably doing other stuff, too. It's not just depopulation. They're up to something else, too. Hey, Zero buddy. Good to see you. Welcome. I guess I am not completely caught up, but now I believe I am with you. And they create clouds over there, too. Okay, thank you for letting us know. I watch them swart the sky every day. My friends and then the people get clouds. They can't get over it. I don't get sick often, but everyone around me who's in public does. Scared. The coof, as we call it, or the plandemic, was a huge operation to help depopulate. Yeah. I think there's a lot of plans with the coof, the plandemic. I think they had a lot of plans with that. And also, yeah, definitely, absolutely. And also, they want to try to see how well they could do a authoritarianism, which I'm not comparing it anything to the Third Reich or the Timu mustache man did, but they're kind of trying to map out how people would react to certain stuff like that. Five Cats says a theory is create clouds to stop the sun from shining on people's crops. Oh, absolutely. I've heard of that, yes. Steve says in New Mexico we have big skies. The skies 360 all around, so it's very noticeable when they're doing it. Ah, yeah, they can't hide it up there. Where I am, it's kind of like that too, Steve. I can see the sky very well where I am. But my area is kind of like the outskirts of the city. It's more quiet. Now, Mary Tools gets triggered when I say it's like the country because it's a suburb. Now, the house that I live in and where my grandparents live in, see, my grandparents are right next door to me. And they're very old houses from over 100 years ago or older. My house that I'm in, right now, it looks like a house from the pirate game. And the yards are very large. It's like, it doesn't mean like it's not like a mansion or anything, but it's like back in the old days, they made yards bigger. It's more quiet. It's not all the time, but it's quiet. And the neighbors are pretty chill. So, that, I could see what y'all are talking about with the... Yeah, Mary Tools doesn't want to be called country. And we're not country. We're in the city. I don't have... Nothing wrong with, people that are country, though. They have enchanting accents. It's just that it seems like I remember, like, I think Steve, you were there. I was so Miranda. I'll do these lives when I go in my yard at night and show y'all all the plants and stuff. Which one day I'm gonna be doing that again, and at some point, I'll be glad when you could join us for that. And when we were doing the live, we would go, and I would say it's like it's rule, and Mary Toodles gets triggered. And okay, I'll compare it to this. It's like the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like a jungle in the Caribbean. That's what I'd say it's like. It's like, and it's not even like the country. It's not even like the country. It's more like a jungle. Like it's like Vietnam or somewhere in Asia or somewhere like that. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, buddy. Which I do want to do more phone lives again. I miss doing that. I enjoyed it. And I enjoy fighting the trolls. Now, there's more trolls when we do the phone lives. Man, there'll be hordes of them. And they'll insult my amazing looks and what I'm saying. But chat is always very good at fighting back and roasting them back along with me. But there's also very cool people in the phone lives that I've met. And I'm going to get to chat. I know I'm ranting. But, of course, that's what we're all here for. And 5 cats. At night, if you get away from the city, you can see every star in the galaxy. I remember Matt showed a picture of New Mexico at night. It's beautiful. Where I am, you could, when the lights are off where I am, we have these lights but they can be shut off. It looks just like that. You can see all the constellations in the galaxy. Not as much as y'all can see where y'all are at, but y'all can see, I can see quite a bit of the constellations. I see Orion's belt. It's beautiful. I remember I took a video of Sirius, and it just, I love Sirius. It's just, like, with the astrology, I'm not saying, like, I'm a Christian, but say with the astrology stuff or whatever, if that's all true, I really feel it when I see Sirius. Do I have an Ivan? Now, there was an Ivan type person that became an Ivan, but he had to be banned from the channel because he was doing something creepy to Amanda. And there was this other person who's a good friend of mine, Norm. He's a cool dude. Sometimes he'll be sort of like an Ivan with we'll talk about some of the religion, and Miranda go to town on that guy. Yeah, he doesn't he's agnostic. But he believes like Jesus was an alien, which is, okay. I don't believe that, but and then we'll talk about like the church and religion and some different things. And yeah, he'll go off about it and he'll like call in, and I'm, as I said, cool, and we have a civilized conversation. But the chat, I remember Latina was so triggered at him. Oh Lord. Especially when he was talking about when we were coming over here and we took over the land, and we civilized everybody and stuff. I mean, she would about we're talking about the monkey god. So there's this like Nephilim monkey thing in South America that they used to worship this monkey god. It was like this like a giant Nephilim hybrid thing that the ladies would worship it and other people would worship it. And yeah, I remember that day. It was pretty wild. Now, Zero's a cool dude. I like Zero. Just shout to him. But y'all think he's an Ivan? I don't know. Maybe so. He does seem to... y'all seem to have a Ivan-type discussions where it gets heated. Alright, so I was ranting to... I saw the Milky Way in the Canaries Island, Miranda. No light pollution. And Miranda says, 5 cats and Jane, it's nothing like that. The best thing in life are free. Amen. My granddad showed me some planets, but they do look like shiny stars. Absolutely. I can see all the light pollution off in the distance from El Paso, Texas. Wow. I got a telescope, 60 millimeters lens, taken some photos of Mars, the moon, and Miranda through a telescope. You'll see it clearly. Oh, that's awesome. And Miranda said she couldn't get hers to work. Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. As I said, yeah, shout out to the telescopes. It's good to get one that works right, and sometimes it can be difficult. Now, Jane, do you have a telescope you recommend? For chat, if they want to get a certain type of telescope. All right, and Jane, I love that stuff. Even the posters, the posts or videos of them here on YouTube is amazing. And Miranda said, Jane, I shouldn't have given up. I still have my big one. I tossed my smaller one. Yeah, Miranda, and I'll tell you all something about me and my experience, my Timu experience. In my only 27 years of being here. Oh, binoculars are very nice. I have binoculars. Five Cat says, nice, Jane. I have epic stargazing binoculars. I bought my son. I have a 300 millimeter lens from my camera, which captures nice shots of the moon. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So basically, what happened with the constellations, and now I think that the one who says they can and can't are both correct. This was a philosophy, I believe, from Confucius. And say something gets hard in life, or something you try and you fail at something, and just no matter what you do, you can't get it to work. Now on YouTube, exactly, fact, Steve. On YouTube, there's good tutorials to learn how, like, you have a product, you need to learn how to use it. You could go get your tutorial, and it'll teach you exactly what to do. Now, sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes there's other complications. Now, when I did stuff, for instance, I remember when I was teaching myself about, as a hobby, the computer programming stuff as a hobby, I'll tell you, that is the most difficult thing to try. It's fun, but it's something like, I don't know, I'd rather go build a skyscraper with my bare hands over trying to do that if I had a choice. But I did a lot of things where I didn't figure out stuff right away, or I did failures and things like that. And I just kept trying. I remember I learned from other mentors and stuff and people online to keep trying and to keep pushing. Because when you really fail is when you stop trying. And failure could be a great learning experience. So I kept doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again. And I eventually got the hang of it. And I learned from my mistakes. And I just kept going and going. As I said, it's like building a city or something. It's really complicated. And I think that, as I said, a lot of people might want to be tempted to give up when they're trying something new. But don't worry, that's normal. Everybody feels that. And, like, for instance, to be very passionate about something is very important. Because it's very difficult and very tedious and painful to do certain things. But if you're very passionate, you'll just love what you do. And also, if somebody doesn't always feel like doing something. And none of us are perfect. And I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect about any of this stuff. Is that you have to be disciplined and passionate about what you do. And we have this, so let me think. Mine's a vintage one. I need to look up what makes it. It's from the 60s and 70s. Ah, okay. Nice. Sometimes you'll see space knee clubs setting up parking lots around here with their telescopes. They always let people look. Well, that's very nice of them. Miranda says, Jane and Five Cats, I had to put it together myself too. I was Googling stuff. I have no idea. I need to try more. Miranda, go on YouTube and look up tutorials about, like, look up the type of product you have, the brand, whatever it's called, and look it up on YouTube, and they'll teach you how to do it. It can be very difficult, Miranda. All right, it's normal to feel that way. Okay, thank you. All right, chat. This is the link. This is the link to the telescope. Yeah, that's the link to the telescope, if anybody's interested. All right. Your telescope is a bad one. Oh no. That's unfortunate. That was a bad one. Yeah, I know. It's always good to, sometimes you get a product and it might not be good. Yeah, it happens. All right. And we're still rolling around. And all right, I'm going to go to this island, and we got quite a bit of treasure. I'll go here. My family belittled me about my degree in photography when I'm the only one in my family with a degree, and they don't realize skills beyond it all. Exactly, and I'm glad that you understand the point of photography. And when you do photography, that is a great job to have and a great way to make money. I think that's a better idea than shout out to the coal miners, but rather than shoveling coal, photography I think is a better idea for that I would think would be best. Look at that, we got the moon right there. Yeah, you got the moon right there. Yeah, shout out to the moon. It is the island. And also, Miranda says, my photography is a huge profession. And wonderful, my dad and grandpa are both photographers, and my grandpa retired from his photography office. Well, that's great. I love taking pictures. My grandfather in England, he loves photography also. He's very good at taking pictures, and I like doing photography too. I like doing it also. I've taken some enchanting pictures. I took a video of Sirius up close to my phone. I zoomed in very closely, and you can see it blinking, all the different colors. It's beautiful. I love looking at that. And you're welcome. All right, Danielle says 5 cats. Oh, that's awful, hun. And photography is a great passion and profession. Don't give up. Facts. Does anyone know what the panning out with lens on a telescope function is? I am not aware of that, Jane. I don't know. I can look it up. I'm going to look it up. If you know the answer, that's cool. I'll look it up. Miranda says, I was given to me my telescope by my mom, and my younger siblings must have bought it from a Ross. From a Ross? Scared. It was super cheap, but still have the larger ones. I saw the full moon, but it was too zoomed in. Okay. You were a wedding photographer for years. You're very good at what you do. All right. She has a name. Her name's Jane. The Diary of Jane by Breaking Benjamin. That's what your name's cool, Jane. It reminds me of that band Breaking Benjamin. The Diary of Jane. That's a cool name. All right, so she says, panning out. All right, okay. If my friend Ross saw that, he would have a. That'd be funny if he saw it was a Ross, because he would say it was a Logan. It was Logan was the one that sold Miranda the telescope, because Ross would have gotten her like a really nice expensive one. Shout out to Ross. Yeah, and my name is Hansel from Hansel and Gretel. And the pronunciation in German is Hansel. And a lot of people say Hansel, but it's like Hansel and Gretel. And then Hansel was anointed alien spaceship and did this thing. All right, what is the function of the lens in a telescope? The earliest telescopes, as well as amateur telescopes today, use lens to gather more light than the human eye could collect on its own. They focus on light and make distant objects appear brighter, clearer, and magnified. This type of telescope is called a refracting telescope. Thanks, Danielle. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see. All right, panning out function telescope. Let's see. You said the panning out function on a telescope. I'm not quite. Let's see if this answers your question. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Thanks for explaining. Okay, I got this. Something to do with the field of view and making the planet or star appear bigger for the lens function, panning out in and out. Oh, well, okay, I got this. All right. All right, we're going to answer the question. What makes the planets and stars bigger? As the core collapses, the shell of plasma surrounding the core becomes. Hmm. But now that's not. Oh, I got this. Is the right one. Right one. All right. What telescopes do is collect more light than your eyes can by having a big curved mirror that points all the extra light at a smaller mirror that points towards where your eye will go. So that is that is why when you're looking at a planet or a star, it looks like it's right next to you. Like in taking a lasso and putting it over the moon and bringing it down here. What the telescope does is, all right, Danielle. See you later. Thank you. And enjoy your dinner. What a telescope what telescopes do is, so the telescope collects more light than our eyes can see by having a big curved mirror that points all the extra light in at a smaller mirror, and that mirror points it where our eyes go. All right, Steve. Okay, Steve, awesome. All right, peace, Steve. Thank you for being here. All right. So that is the reason why it looks bigger. Let's see. Also, let's see right here. A shout out to the pirate game. Okay. So now we're going to. I'll see you guys. I'll show you all this. Something that I took. All right. I'm just seeing this right now. New CIA file: men turned to stone in alien encounter. Alien. All right. All right, so that's something I'll show you all in a moment, but basically we're going to come on. Come on, mouse. All right. I got the mouse right here. Okay. Okay. All right, so one thing I'm going to do here real quick, is, let's see about this thumbnail thing. It didn't show that, so I'm just noticing this. Okay, so put that one. Edit it. Okay, everything looks like it's doing good. We'll see. Wait a minute. All right, so I'm going to show you all a little short that I made a while back about Sirius with the phone. All right, and hello, Sharon. Hello, Sharon. It's a wonderful surprise to see you too. And also, Jane says, I highly recommend the app if you want to learn more about the planets and stars and locate the Starlink satellites. It's Stellarium. I have it on my Android cell phone, the free version. Ah, okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, so going to go over here and let's see. Take that out. Put this here. All right, this is Sirius right here. Do you see this light that's blinking? All these different colors. I'll put it so a little bit bigger so y'all could see it. All right, so. All right, this is Sirius. This is the planet that the ancient Egyptians talked about, and people in ancient Greece, and this is the dog star. And I took it up very close with I've zoomed in with my phone a couple of times, and I edited it to be even closer. And those lights you see are crystals, and they've been blinking for millions of years. The ancient Egyptians saw that. All the different civilizations saw that, and now you get to see it very close. And allegedly, many aliens and gods of ancient Egypt and aliens claim to come from this star. Very fascinating. Okay, Miranda, understood. Okay, Miranda, understood. All right. So, yeah, you need to spot that. Yeah. So, yeah, Sirius is a very cool star, and it's the brightest star in the night sky, and it blinks. It blinks on and off, and what it does is it continues to. It's like a color wheel. Where it's located is in the southwest. That's where it's located. And yeah, yeah. So I took that close up with the, the, what do you call it? Sirius. Right. So, all right. So we got that, and now I'll go to. This is the game. It's still on. That was taken. I'll tell you the date when I took it, and I'll put it back up. We could look at it for a little while. All right. So going here. I'll put it back up. Why not? When was the date of this? It was 6 months ago. That seems to be when the date of this was taken. I'll make sure. All right. Okay, I will. I'll look it up if it's in. I'm not familiar with all that, but I'll see if it's in that. I think it is there. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's in that one. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Sirius is colloquially known as the dog star, reflecting its prominence in its constellation, Canis Minor. It might be so. Canis Minor is a small constellation in the North sky. Its name means smaller dog or lesser dog. In Latin, the constellation represents one of the dogs following Orion, the hunter in Greek mythology. Other dog is represented by the larger neighboring constellation Canis Minor. It looks like it's a neighboring constellation. I'll get the exact answer in a moment because it looks like it's giving me mixed answers. All right. Now I could see Orion's belt perfectly here. That's all I could see. I could see that whole thing. Let's see. Yes, it's in Canis Minor. No, it's Canis Major. It's so Sirius is in Canis Major. Sirius is looks like it's in Canis Major. Not Canis Minor. Yeah, today Sirius is nicknamed the Dog Star because it's part of the constellation Canis Major. All right. Canis Major lies southeast of the constellation Orion, and Sirius falls along an imaginary line drawn through Orion's three central stars, or Bell. The basic figure of Canis Major also includes the brightest star immediately to the east, the west of Sirius, and triangle of stars to the southeast. Yeah, so Sharon, yeah, I understand. It can be kind of confusing, and I don't completely know everything about it myself. I'm also just learning. And yeah, so that is Sirius, the star that is blinking. Jane said, "Oh, thank you. I saw it in the southwest some weeks ago, the major one without a telescope." Sharon. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna show the game again. Got some interesting information regarding the aliens. Jane says yes. If I spot it again, I'm going through my telescope and try to take a photo. Oh, that's awesome. We got some alien news going on here. Let's see. So let's see how this goes with the stream. All right. Newly released CIA file: Men turned to stone in alien encounter. All right. So a declassified document posted to the CIA's website is raising eyebrows with claims of an alleged UFO attack on Soviet forces. Chief Transportation Correspondent May K. Beller uncovers the viral report. So some people were turned into stone because of an alien encounter. Scared. Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah. Jane, oh, you have a telescope. Maybe I should invest in one. Wouldn't know what I was seeing. Yeah, now I'm fascinated with the stars and constellations. Besides me being an alien, I'm I'm fascinated by them because they were able to, let's see. Oh, at nighttime I loved looking at them and I would see them and I studied a lot about them. I also was fascinated with the alleged planet 10 Nibiru. I also like that too. Yeah, I always love stars and constellations. It's very enchanting and has a rich history behind it. Very cool. And Jane says, yeah, it's a vintage one I got for $40 in US money. It's worth about $20 in US money. $200. Ah, okay. Understood, Jane. All right. So now I'm going to do some more sailing and show you all some more of the sailing stuff. Yeah, the planets usually do not twinkle. That's something I know about them. The planets don't usually twinkle. All right, and then you have Sharon says, "I love laying on my blanket on a summer night and just staring up at the sky. Makes you feel small, so small." Oh yeah, it's great to see how big the universe is and all the different planets and constellations that are out there. Also, the moon's light is very irradiating. Also, the moon's light is very irradiating and enchanting. Hello, Mary Toodles. All right. And Sharon says, "I love laying." Okay. Five Cats is saying that there's fighting outside. I don't know. Hopefully that gets situated. Scared.
Were some people fighting yesterday? These three guys.
Where?
When you went to do something outside yesterday.
I heard some arguing.
Yeah, it was three guys walking down the street.
Yeah.
I know, I heard it too. Right when you went out.
Right.
You don't have to get up yet. Rescue room. Rescue room.
Yeah, that was eBay. And then Sharon says, okay, so that's on eBay. Yeah, and also this game has great graphics when it comes to the skies and the stars and stuff. It's pretty cool. That also does. And I remember when I would go and see the sky at night. As I said, I would see the entire Orion constellation, and I like seeing the three stars of the Orion's belt because it looks like similar to the pyramids. And then you'll see, like, I remember as the night goes on, the stars kind of move across the sky. And as the stars move across the sky, I will like to see these other stars you don't really see too much, and they look very very distant. Some look closer than others. And also Mars looks like a copper ball. That's what it looks like. Oh, thank you. It appears green. Yes. Yeah, it's a color wheel. It's a color wheel that has been going for thousands and thousands of years. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And thanks, Jane. Yeah, because it appears in green. And also, one time, Jane, I took a still picture of it, and it was in like a very beautiful blue. Isn't it so cool? Those are alien colors because they're colors that do not originate from Earth. They originate in the sky. And Jane says, "I'm happy you had a good experience with. I'm glad you had experience with eBay. Last time she got ripped off, wouldn't let me return an unlisted faucet. Didn't even try because I knew it wouldn't work."
Well, she could go to. Did she pay through PayPal or go to eBay? They will give her the money back. She needs to look into that. I've been doing eBay for like, oh my gosh, like almost your whole life. So I mean, she needs to contact. Did she use PayPal? Ask her.
All right, sharing the Jews PayPal because Mary Toodles says that they would give the money back.
Yeah, or eBay. Contact eBay. If she was not, there was a problem, they will fix it.
Yeah, eBay will fix it.
I've been on there since like
I've oh
for like 25 years.
oh wow. Oh. I
I've
have
had like one or two bad experiences in like 25 years.
yeah I have seen I've seen Saturn before. I've seen Saturn. I don't know exactly where it is, but I've seen it. Oh, thank you. And it was years ago. Thank you. I think I. She said she used a credit card.
card company and tell them, and they will, if it's her bank or a credit card, she needs to contact who she paid it through and the company itself, and they will do something about it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
It happens again.
I want to see. Yeah, so, and basically, I'll look up like where Saturn is exactly. We will go and I'll see where it is because basically I've heard that. Thank you so much. Okay, okay, Sharon, that's good you heard. Yeah, so, and basically, like what I would see, I've zoomed very. Wait, I did see Saturn. I saw Saturn, and it looks like it has like rings on it. Now, another thing that I did see is I saw Venus. Venus is beautiful to see. Venus is the morning star. Like they'll talk about the morning star, Lucifer. The morning star is Venus. And I remember one time I was at a sleepover at my friend's house down the street, and I was staying up until like early in the morning, and I saw the twilight and the sun like getting ready to come up, and the sky looks like a light blue color, and it's kind of dark but light. And I can see hints of light, but it's still dark, and I'll see this gigantic star in the sky, but it's a planet. It's a planet, but it's Venus, and I've seen it in the night sky. Also, it's the evening star because I would in the evening time, I would see this star, this giant planet, and I wasn't too sure what it was. It looked very big in the evening, and I found out that it was Venus. It's also an evening star. It's very, very nice, and it has rings on it. Sort of, it has very thin rings. And as I said, I thought it could have been Saturn. I have seen Saturn, but I thought it could have been Saturn or something like that. But no, it's Venus.
Who has a problem with eBay? Because I'll get on there later and tell them if it happens again what they can do.
They heard you.
Okay.
It was Sharon.
Okay.
A Sharon. Jane, did you have a tracking number for proof of delivery? She is asking Jane.
She would contact the bank or the credit card company at eBay, and they would if it happens in the future, always contact who you paid it through and the company itself, and they will help.
All right. Jane says, according to my star and planet app, it's visible in the north half of 923 near constellation of Aquarius. Okay, Jane, thanks. All right, and Jane says, I think it was a standard shipping for one item, no tracking, Sharon. It was ages ago. And Sharon says, how do you know stars and planets?
Because you're an alien.
No, she was talking to Jane, another alien.
Oh, my palm of my hand's itching. I'm gonna get money. That's what they say.
All right. As the wrong doll for this. All right, going to get the other doll to put in here. That is also the wrong one too. Yeah, I think that this one could still be used. All right, Sharon said thanks for the advice. Okay.
Okay, you roll.
Yeah, that one works on an enemy. Let's see. Right, he's going after me. I'm gonna go here. All right, there we go. All right, so this is going pretty good. This is the voodoo doll. Yeah. I'm scared.
I sounded just like you.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, I think that it's really cool where, seeing the planets. And I remember, like I said, Sirius is like, it looks like it's sparkling really bright. Really bright. What I like is this other situation where the moon has different cycles too, and it'll be a crescent moon, and other times it looks very, very big. And as I said, the moonlight is nice to soak in. And sometimes you'll see little things flying around a little bit, and then you'll see. Sometimes I've seen the shooting stars too. I've seen shooting stars before. Yeah, so the shooting stars, they're very, very nice. They kind of come unexpectedly. I remember when I saw the green comet that was coming over. I remember it was a surprise when I saw it. It came from my hemisphere. It was very late to come where I am, but it happened, and I saw the green thing go across the sky. It was nice. I was at the right place at the right time. Pisces the same as alien. That's the sign Jane is.
You're a Pisces, aren't you?
Right, she said Pisces the same as alien's sign.
Yeah, and Aunt Teresa's a Pisces.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's true. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw the green comet too. Oh yeah, yeah, it's very awesome. What do I think of the Un Yu Muya?
The what?
I don't even know what that is. I have to look it up. Yeah, Eugene, I have to look that up.
Spell it?
It's a crazy word.
Can you spell some of it?
OUMUAMMUA. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna go look this up. All right. Okay, this asteroid. I've not heard of this asteroid. Is the first the O asteroid is the first confirmed asteroid object directed passing through the solar system, formally designated in 2017. It was discovered by Robert work used by Pan-STARRS telescope. How do you find Scorpio? Now, with Scorpio, with that app she was talking about, you could find it, but I'll tell you about it on here. What is strange about the O asteroid thing, right? Fred from Harvard. Well, it's not from Harvard, it's from University of Chicago. Because the O asteroid, the brightness changed periodically and varied asymmetrically. It was assumed to be highly elongated and tumbling end over end. Astronomers also noticed a slight acceleration away from the sun, larger than seen for asteroids and more characteristics of comets. I think it's very interesting. I have to do some more research about it, but it seems pretty cool. All right, let's see where Scorpio is. Scorpio in astronomy is laying in the southern sky between Libra, and Sagittarius at about 16 hours 30 minutes right ascension and 30 degrees south declination. You don't have to understand all that technical stuff, but it's basically in the southern sky. Its brightest star is Antares, the 15th brightest star in the sky. As I said, you will find it. Also, that app she was talking about, you could find it. And see, Sharon, and I'll explain to you, like, when I see stars, you'll see these different constellations. You'll see. Yes, Sharon, correct. Eugene, it looks like a spaceship. It probably is a spaceship. It looks like one. Thanks for bringing it up. All right, so Sharon says that one, yes. And we'll say basically, like, I will see, like, the Pisces one, and I'll see the one with the arrow, specifically where I am, and I'll see the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Like, you'll see some stars, and you'll see them kind of united together. And I've seen the Scorpio too. I've seen a part of it. Let's see. This is the Scorpio. And we're going to go to this one because I think it's kind of... I just want to look at a picture of it, not trying to look at a whole website right now. All right, so then you have this constellation Scorpio right here, and that's what it looks like. All right. I found Leo. That's in the south right now. Right. Yeah, you could Google constellations. So what you do on your phone, you go to the app where you look up stuff, where you look up you could just call it Google, or you could call it whatever your search engine is. You just press Google, and then Google will display a page, and then you could type in what you're trying to look for, and just put in whatever you're looking for, and Google will show you. Also, the app that Jane talked about, that would also help. you. It'll show you everywhere where you need to look. All right, look at this. This is how to spot the Scorpius constellation. You're welcome, Sharon. All right, now I'm going to read about this. Okay, so okay, here we go. This is how it's how to spot the Scorpius constellation. All right. Okay. Look for an S-shaped pattern of stars between Libra and Sagittarius to find the Scorpius constellation. In the northern hemisphere, Scorpius is visible in the south during July, August at 10 p.m. The constellation includes Antares, a bridge red supergiant star known as the Scorpion's Heart. The Scorpius constellation glitters against the backdrop of the Milky Way. It has a curvy S-shaped body ending in a set of claws at the head of a pair of stinger stars at the tail. Both northern and southern hemisphere stargazers can see it, although it will look upside down when observed from the superstar. Okay, well, I'll say this. Hemisphere stargazers can see it, although it will look upside down when observed below the equator. How about New England? Okay, so basically, so I'll explain about how you would see it from anywhere in the United States. All right. So the Scorpius constellation glitters against the backdrop of the Milky Way. It has an S-shaped body ending in a set of claws at the head of pair of the stinger stars and a tail. Both northern and southern hemisphere stargazers can see it, although it will look upside down when observed from below the equator. You're welcome, Sharon. Thank you. In the northern hemisphere, Scorpius is most visible by looking to the south during July and August around 10 p.m. The constellation remains visible until mid-September. In the southern hemisphere, Scorpio appears very high in the northern part of the sky until close to the end of September. Scorpius has a distinctive shape and thus is fairly easy to spot. Simply look for an S-shaped pattern of stars between the constellations Libra, the Scales, and Sagittarius, and below another constellation called Ophiuchus. I probably said it wrong. Anyway, history of Scorpius. Scorpius has long been recognized as a constellation. Its roots in mythology stretch back to the ancient Babylonians and the Chinese, as well as the Hindu astrologers. Hello, Liberty. Good to see you. Now we're talking about the Scorpius constellation, Liberty. Scorpius has long been recognized as a constellation. Its roots and mythology stretch back to the ancient Babylonians and Chinese, as well as the Hindu astrologers. Polynesians, navigators, the Greeks associated with the constellation Orion. And today we often hear the tale of how both constellations are never seen together in the sky. That's because in the ancient legends, the scorpion stung Orion, deleting him. Keen observers will notice that Orion sets in the east and the scorpion rises. The two will never meet. The stars of the Scorpius constellation. Did you hear about the new star called K218b? I haven't, but I'll look it up. I'll look it up. At least 18 bright stars make up the curving body of the starry scorpion. The larger region of the Scorpius is defined by the eye boundaries set by the International Astronomical Union. These were made by the international agreement that allowed astronomers to use common references to the stars and other objects in all areas of the sky within that region. Scorpius has dozens of stars that can be seen with the naked eye, and part of the lies against the backdrop of the Milky Way with its countless stars and clusters. Each star in the Scorpius has Greek letter next to it. The official star chart of Alpha A denotes the brightest star Beta B, the second brightest star, and so on. The brightest star in Scorpius is a Scorpii, with the common name Antares, meaning the rival of Ares, Mars. It's a red supergiant star and is one of the largest stars we can see in the sky. It lies about 550 light years away from the US. If Antares were part of the solar system, it would encompass the inner solar system out beyond the orbit of Mars. Antares is traditionally thought of as the heart of the scorpion and is easy to spot with the naked eye. Hello, Silver Fox. Good to see you. All right, so it's the star you're speaking of is not visible through the naked eye of the telescope. All right. The second brightest star in Scorpius is actually a triple star system. The brightest member is called the Graphis. Alternately is called Acrab. Its official designation is B1 Scorpii. Its two companions are much fainter but can be seen in telescopes. Down at the tail end of Scorpius lies a pair of stars, Cocoli, known as the stringers. The brighter of the two is called Gamma Scorpii or Shula. The other stringer is called Lesoth. Deep sky objects in constellation Scorpius. All right. I think my stars are all out of whack right now. It's been bad lately. Oh, and well, can't do anything about it. It could be worse. I always say, thanks to Alien. Oh no, forgot the telescope. LOL. Well, I'm glad, Sharon, that you're enjoying this, and in spite of all the trouble that's going on, I'm glad that we could all be chilling here. Hello, Steve. Welcome back. Scorpius is on the plane of the Milky Way. Its stringer stars point roughly toward the center of our galaxy, which means that observers can spot many star clusters and nubula in the region. Some are visible to naked eye, while others are best observed with binoculars or telescopes. Jane says, only seen Mars lately, bit cloudy out here in the UK, and waiting for the clear night. Due to its location near the heart of the galaxy, Scorpius has a fine collection of a globular clusters, marked here by the yellow circles with a plus symbol inside of them. The easiest cluster to spot is called M4. There are also many open clusters in the Scorpius, such as NGC 6281, that can be seen with binoculars or small telescopes. Close up of M4. Globular clusters are satellites of the Milky Way galaxy. They often contain hundreds, thousands, or sometimes millions of stars, all tightly bound together by gravity. M4 orbits the core of the Milky Way and lies about 7,200 light years away from the Sun. It has around 100,000 ancient stars, more than 12 billion years old. This means they were born when the universe was quite young and existed before the Milky Galaxy. Now, shout out to the UK. Was formed. Astronomers study these clusters, and in particular, the metal content of the stars to understand more about them. For amateur observers, M4 is easily spotted not far from the entries from a good star sky. It's just bright enough to be picked out with the naked eye. However, it's much easier to observe through binoculars. A good backyard type telescope will show a very nice view of the clusters. All right. All right, so that's the information about Scorpius. We're talking about Oumuamua. This is the asteroid in question. You see that's a constellation right there. People think that this was once a spaceship at one time, and it's been like fossilized. So there's some conspiracy theories around this asteroid, but we'll talk about it right now. All right. You're welcome, Sharon. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. All right. Oumuamua is the first, I'll call it Asteroid O for short, is the first confirmed object from another star to visit our solar system. This interstellar introlooper appears to be rocky cigar-shaped object, and some of the UFOs are depicted as being cigar-shaped, with somewhat reddish hue. The object was named Oumuamua by its discoverers. It means a messenger from arriving first in Hawaii, in Hawaiian. Oumuamua is up to 1/4 mile, 40 meters long, and highly elongated, perhaps 10 times as long as it's wide. That aspect ratio is greater than that of any asteroid or comet observed in our solar system to date, while its elongated shape is quite surprising, and unlike objects seen in our solar system, it may provide new clues into how other solar systems formed. Kind of like a little video of it, I guess. You see, that's some of the circumference of it. Very great, very interesting, fascinating asteroid right there. All right. The observations suggest this unusual object had been wandering through the Milky Way, unattached to any star system from hundreds of millions of years before its chance encountered with our star system. Immediately after discovery, telescopes around the world, including ESO's Very Large Telescope in Chile, were called into action to measure the object's orbit, brightness, and color urgency. For viewing from the ground-based telescopes was vital to get the best data. Combining the images from FORS instruments on the ESO telescope using 4 different filters with those of other large telescopes, a team of astronomers led by Karen Meach of the Institute for Astronomy in Hawaii found in Oumuamua varies in brightness by a factor of 10 as it spins on its axis every 7.3 hours. No known asteroid, comet from our solar system varies so widely in brightness with such a large ratio between length and width. The most elongated objects we have seen to date are no more than 3 times longer than wide. And right here, that is it right there in a little circle. This unusually big variation in brightness means that the object is highly elongated, about 10 times as long as it is wide, with a complex convolution shape, said Meach. We also found that it had a reddish color similar to objects in the outer solar system, and it is completely inert, without the faintest hint of dust around it. These properties suggest that Oumuamua is dense, composed of rock and possibly metals, has a water or ice, and that its surface was redness due to effects of irradiation for the cosmic rays over hundreds of millions of years. A few larger ground-based telescopes continued to track the fading objects as receded from the planet. 2 of NASA's space telescope, Hubble and Spitzer, tracked the object traveling 85,700 miles per hour relative to the sun. Its outbound path is about 20 degrees above the plane and the planets orbit the sun. The object passed Mars' orbit around November 1 and will pass Jupiter's orbit in May of 2018. It will travel beyond Saturn's orbit in January 2019 as it leaves our solar system. Oumuamua will head for the constellation of Pegasus. Preliminary orbital calculations suggest that object came from approximate direction, the bright star Vega, in a northern constellation of Lyra. However, it took so long for interstellar object to make the journey, even at the speed of about 59,000 miles per hour, 26.4 kilometers per second, that Vega was not near the position when the Oumuamua was there about 300,000 years ago. Astronomers estimate that an interstellar object similar to Oumuamua passes through the inner solar system about once per year, but they are faint and hard to spot, have been missed until now. It is only recently that the survey telescopes, such as Pan-STARRS S1, are powerful enough to have a chance to discover them. What a fascinating discovery this is, said Paul Chavez, manager of the Center of the Near-Earth Object Studies at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Pasadena, California. It staged visitors from a faraway star shaped like nothing we've seen in our solar system neighborhood. All right. Discovery, the first known interstellar object to visit our solar system, 1/2017 U1, Oumuamua, was discovered October 19, 2017, by University of Hawaii's Pan-STARRS 1 telescope. Funded by NASA's Near-Earth Object Observations (NEOO) program, which finds the track asteroids and comets in Earth's neighborhood, while originally classified as a comet, observations revealed no signs of contemporary activity after the single-hooted past the sun of September 9, 2017. A blistering speed of 196,000 miles per hour, kilometers briefly per second. It was briefly classified as an asteroid until new measurements found it was accelerating slightly, a sign it behaves more like a comet. How Oumuamua got its name. Object was officially named 1/2017 U1 by the International Astronomical Union, which is responsible for granting official names to bodies in the solar system and beyond. In addition to technical name, the Pan-STARRS team dubbed it Oumuamua, pronounced Moa. That's how it's really pronounced. I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time. Which is Hawaiian for messenger from arriving afar. Okay. A messenger from afar arriving first. All right. Okay. Now I want to talk about some stuff from the Old West. This one particular individual. All right, and I'll be doing this other part, and then this will be the last part of this show, and then I will be. I don't know. I might do a live later, maybe, maybe not. I'll certainly do a very late night stream, probably from my phone, most likely, but I'm not too sure if we're doing another one this evening. All right. So I'm going to talk about Billy the Kid, this cowboy from the Old West. I thought was quite interesting, and I'll probably talk about it again for other audiences that may not be here. But we'll talk about this interesting thing for a little bit, and then we'll be. I'm not ending the stream now, but we'll be ending it soon. All right. All right, and yes, you be blessed too, Eugene. Thanks for telling me about the asteroid. All right, Henry McCarthy. September 17 to November 23, 1859 to 1881 July. William H. Boney, better known as Billy the Kid, was an American outlaw and gunfighter of the Old West who was linked to 9 murders, 4 of which he was solely responsible, and 5 in which may have played a role alongside others. He is also noted from the involvement in New Mexico's Lincoln County War. McCarthy was orphaned at the age of 15. His first arrest was for stealing food at the age of 16. In 1875, 10 days later, he robbed a Chinese laundry and was arrested again, but escaped shortly afterwards. He fled from New Mexico territory into the neighboring Arizona territory, making himself both an outlaw and a federal fugitive. In 1877, he began to call himself William H. Boney. After deleting a blacksmith during an altercation in 1877, Boney became a wanted man in Arizona and returned to New Mexico, where he joined a group of cattle rustlers. He became well known in the region when he joined regulators and took part in the Lincoln County War of 1878. He and other regulators were later charged with deleting 3 men, including Lincoln County Sheriff William J. Brady and one of his deputies. Boney's notoriety grew in December 1880 when Las Vegas Gazette in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and the Sun in New York City carried stories about his crimes. Sheriff Pat Garrett captured Boney later that month. In April 1881, Boney was tried for and convicted of Brady's murder and was sentenced to hang in May of that year. He escaped from jail on April 28, deleting 2 sheriff's deputies in the process and evaded capture for more than 2 months. Garrett shot and deleted Boney by then age 21, Fort Sumner, in July 14, 1881. Scared. During the decades following his deletion, legends grew that Boney had survived, and a number of men claimed to be him. Billy the Kid remains one of the most notorious figures from the era whose life and likeness have been frequently dramatized in Western popular culture. He has been featured more than 50 movies and several television series. Henry McCarthy was born to parents of Irish Catholic ancestry. Does anyone watch Nancy Grace? I've never heard of that. Silver, who is that exactly? Henry McCarthy was born to parents of Irish Catholic ancestry, Catherine D. Devine and Patrick McCarthy in New York, while his birth year has been confirmed as 1859. Exact date of his birth has been disputed as either September 17 or November 23 of that year. There is uncertainty among historians about the exact place and date McCarthy birth. Census records indicate that his younger brother Joseph McCarthy was born 1863. Following the deletion of her husband, Catherine McCarthy and her sons moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, where she met William Henry Harrison Entrim. The McCarthy family moved with Entrim to Wichita, Kansas in 1870. After moving again a few years later, Catherine married Entrim on March 1, 1873, at the First Presbyterian Church in Santa Fe, New Mexico territory, and McCarthy boys served as witnesses shortly after. The family moved from Santa Fe to Silver City, New Mexico, and Joseph adopted Antrim's surname shortly before McCarthy passed away of tuberculosis September 16, 1874. William Entrim abandoned McCarthy's boys, leaving them orphans. McCarthy was 14 years old when his mother died. Sarah Brown, the owner of a boarding house, gave him room and board in exchange for work. On September 16, 1875, McCarthy was caught stealing food. 10 days later, McCarthy George Schaefer robbed Chinese laundry, stealing clothing and 2 pistols. McCarthy was charged with theft and was jailed. He escaped 2 days later and became a fugitive. As reported in the Silver City Herald the next day, the first story published about him, McCarthy located his stepfather and stayed with him until Antrim threw him out. McCarthy stole clothing and guns from him. It was the latest time that the two saw each other. She's a loudmouth podcaster. She was active on YouTube. I don't watch her because she reminds me of Mira Heedy, a British serial killer. Oh, I know who that is. I know about that. Scared. Okay, so K2-18b is an exoplanet orbiting a red dwarf located 124 light years from Earth. That's interesting. That's what y'all were talking about before. Yeah, I think I might have. I think I've seen her before. I've seen her before. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Nancy Grace. I've seen her. All right. All right. First crimes, and as I said, we'll talk about Billy the Kid again in other streams. For some of you, that I mean, you might see a repeat of this. By the way, because we'll get into more detail about it as time goes on. We're just kind of doing an overview about it right now. First crime, McCarthy was 14 years old when his mother died. Sarah Brown, the owner of a boarding house, gave room and board in exchange for work on September 16, 1875. McCarthy was caught stealing food 10 days after McCarthy George Schaefer robbed a Chinese laundry, stealing clothing and two pistols. McCarthy was charged with theft and was jailed. He escaped 2 days later, became a fugitive, as reported in the Silver City Herald the next day. The first story published about him, McCarthy located his stepfather and stayed with him until Antrim threw him out. McCarthy stole clothing, guns from him. It was the last time the two saw each other. After leaving Antrim, McCarthy traveled to southeastern Arizona Territory, where he worked as a ranch hand and gambled his wages. A nearby gambling house in 1876, he was hired as ranch handled by well-known rancher Henry Hooker. During this time, McCarthy became acquainted with John R. Mackey, a Scottish-born criminal and former U.S. Cavalry private who founded his discharge. It remained near the U.S. Army post at Camp Grant in Arizona. The two men soon began stealing horses from local soldiers. McCarthy became known as Kid Antrim because of his youth, slight build, clean-shaven appearance, and personality. She looks like her, Sharon. Oh, okay. Understood. She looks like the person. All right, I'm going to read a little bit more of this, and I'll briefly go over the new planet that they're talking about, and then we'll end it. All right. So remember, I mentioned that before I would talk about it. All right. At some point in 1877, McCarthy began to refer himself by name William H. Boney. On August 17, 1877, Boney was at a saloon in the village of Bonita when he got into an argument with Francis P. Wendy Cahill, a blacksmith who reportedly had bullied him and on more than one occasion called him a pimp. Scared. Boney in turn called him a son of a bitch. Whereupon Cahill threw Boney to the floor, and the two struggled for Boney's revolver. Boney shot the morality mortally wounded Cahill. A witness said Billy had no choice. He had to use his equalizer. Cahill died the following day. Boney fled but returned a few days later and was apprehended by Miles Wood, the local justice at the peace. He was detained and held in the Camp Grant guardhouse but escaped before the law enforcement could arrive. All right. We'll get more into that in other streams, but that's a brief overview of the Wild West story I'm talking about. And we'll talk more about different ones, but that is one. Okay, let's briefly talk about this planet. Let's see here. Proof of life on K2-18b not at all obvious. 9 times the size of Earth, 120 light years away, University of Cambridge. All right, I'm back. I'm back. So basically, it was just some ads on the pages I was on that was causing the stream to go down. All right, let's try this. This should work better. Okay, I'm back. It was just some ads on a website that caused the problem. Okay, K218b, also known as Epic 2019, is an exoplanet orbiting the red dwarf K218, located 124 light years away from Earth. The planet is sub-Neptune, about 2.6 times the radius of Earth, while 33-day orbit within the star's habitable zone. It receives approximately a similar amount of light as the Earth receives from the Sun, initially discovered with the Kepler Space Telescope. It was later observed by James Webb Telescope in order to study the planet's atmosphere. In 2019, the presence of water vapor in K218b's atmosphere was reported, drawing scientific attention to this system. In 2023, the JWST detected carbon dioxide and methane atmosphere of K218b. JWST's data has been variously interpreted as indicating a water ocean planet with hydrogen rich atmosphere, and a gas rich mini Neptune. K218b has been studied as a potential habitable world that, temperature aside, more closely resembles the ice giant Uranus or Neptune than Earth. A possible ocean, at temperatures exceeding the critical point, liquids and gases stop between different phases, and there is no longer a separation between an ocean and atmosphere. It is unclear whether observations imply that a separate liquid ocean exists on K218b, and detecting such oceans is difficult from outside. Its existence cannot be inferred or ruled by solely from the mass and radius of a planet. The existence of a liquid water ocean is uncertain. Before James Webb Telescope observations, a super critical state, the water was believed to be more likely. JWST discovered were initially considered to be more consistent with a fluid gas interface, thus a liquid ocean. Trace gases such as hydrocarbons and ammonia can be lost from the atmosphere to an ocean if it exists. Their presence may thus imply the absence of an ocean atmosphere separation. Subsequent work finds that a magma ocean may also capable of dissolving ammonia, and explaining the observation results, but not explain the observed carbon dioxide concentrations. Whether the carbon oxide concentrations can be explained by a mini Neptune deep hydrogen atmosphere model is uncertain. Another paper suggests that a liquid water ocean model requires the presence of a biosphere in the product of a sufficient amount of methane. Y'all haven't hit that number yet. Oh, scared. Alright. Let's see the temperature is where I am. Right now it's 84 degrees where I am, with humidity at 59% and participation 0. Alright, so I'll be getting more into this in another stream. I might go live later. I might go live at some point where y'all might be sleeping. Might be go live this evening. I'm not too certain. And oh, thanks, Sharon. Glad you like the weather we have. All right. And also, I'm gonna be ending this afternoon stream for now, as it was requested. And I'm appreciate all of you that stayed here with me. And you could have been anywhere, but you stayed here with me, and I appreciate that. All those that weren't here, they're not bad people. They're cool people also. Shout out to them. Everybody has their own things going on. And so I appreciate all of you being here with me, and maybe see you all this evening. Maybe y'all can see it as a rerun. I don't know. But thank you all. This has been a great streaming week. I've really been enjoying it. And okay, everybody. And we'll be closing it up now. And here we go. Switch over here. Okay, Sharon. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. And peace.